right, this is the holy hamstrings workout, and you need to make sure that your legs are fully warmed up for this. Give your legs, your hamstrings a good dynamic stretch, and then we're gonna jump right into this now. So stop and do that if you need to. We're actually gonna start with a straight up deadlift. So I want you to take your dumbbells, your kettlebells, whatever weight you're using today. We've got some kitty litter happening here. This is awesome. I'm going to use this 40-pound dumbbell with your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. You're going to pick up your weight however that you're comfortable with, just from your hands. And with no bending in the knees, we're going to, and I'll just go from the side so you can kind of see, but you're reaching your tailbone behind the heels without bending your knees, and then come up. The depth that you go down is completely related to the length of your hamstrings, the flexibility of your hamstrings today. So make sure that your shoulders stay back, so your back stays completely flat, hinging, and then kick into the heels to come back up until your hips are in full extension, back over top of the ankles at the top. We're going for another 15 seconds here. Okay, one more. And then just a short break here. Just a short break. We're also going to be using a ball today. So not just yet, but so with your weights, maybe it's the same weight. If you can separate, I'm going to go 220. So it's actually the same amount of weight. I'm just spreading it out over two hands. Feel free to use that same weight again. We're going to stagger. So it's like a staggered squat. So I'm standing on my left foot, my right toe is behind me, and I'm going to come down slowly over the front leg, pull all the way back up. So now we're just overloading one leg. We're working the abs in a different way here. And then all the way up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Whatever weight you have is going to be the perfect thing. The weight you have is the one you want to use. Maybe you'll be able to get a little lower if it's lighter, or do a couple extra reps if it's lighter. All of these things will work out. Good. You'll know it's too heavy, of course. You can't keep your shoulders back, or if you're not able to hold on. So if your grip strength is the issue, that can be an indicator it's a little much. Taking a break. One more here on this leg. And then switching legs. So the other foot is very close to the front foot. It's just a step back. It is not a lunge. Hinging forward at the hip. A very minimal amount of bending in the knee. And then back up. And of course, we can have a completely different amount of flexibility from one leg to the other. So always stay in check with how straight and flat the back is able to be. Another 10 seconds here. Hamstrings are the gateway to awesome posture. So we're on our way to a very tall, proud posture kind of day after this. One more here. And then taking a little break, shaking out the arms, shaking out the legs. We're going to do that again, starting with the single load with the feet a little bit wider. Okay, so picking up your weight. Good. Feet a little bit wider than before, toes out slightly. Legs really straight coming down. And then up. Good. So again, minimize the movement so that there's no rounding in the shoulders. Shoulder blades stay just as close together at the bottom of your movement as they are at the top. If you're hardly able to go down at all because of the tightness in your hamstrings, Just stick with it and then make a mental note. You're going to start stretching your hamstrings more. Opening up that range of motion will do wonderful things for your back, your knees, your ankles, your neck. But even just this exercise is great for stretching hamstrings. One more here. Yes. Good. Shake up the arms, taking a little break before we do the staggered one last time. Okay, so even if you are using that exact same weight, that's fine. Okay, picking up the weights, here we go. So just again from the side, the back foot is almost, it's just like the back toe is just sort of in line with your back heel or your front heel. Hips hinge forward. We're sliding the dumbbells. With deadlifts, we always want to keep the weight as close as we can to the shins, to the front leg. So that we're not putting any unnecessary load into the lumbar spine. We want it all in the hamstrings. So the front knee, the standing leg doesn't bend very much. The back knee can bend a lot, but there's like almost no weight on that back foot. One more here. And then switching sides. Okay. 5 seconds we go. Okay, second set, second side, here it goes. So consciously staying nice and heavy on that standing leg. The shoulders way back. Good. One more. And taking a break for the weights. Grab your ball for the hamstring curls. So Swiss ball, exercise ball, whatever you call it. We're going to be on our back here with the heels on top of the ball. Find your balance with both legs on the ball. Lift your hips off the ball. And then with your hips as high as possible, we're going to bend the knees, pull the ball in and out. So to really target the hamstrings, we need to keep the hip bones as close to the ceiling as possible the entire time, especially when you go to straighten the legs again. The hips might lower, but it's all in relation to the rest of the body. So as long as you're not letting the tailbone drop any further away from the spine than it is when the knees are bent, and you've got it going on in those hamstrings. Last 3, 2, and 1. And then bring the hips down. Okay. Hopefully by now, you are really starting to feel the muscle groups that we're working right here in the back of the legs. When they're strong, when they're firm, when they work well, just feel like you are standing so much taller. Okay, so next up, one-legged deadlift. We're gonna take a lighter weight, or if you're already using light weights, weight you've been using all along might be absolutely perfect. Okay, so taking a weight, we're gonna keep the feet almost together. So hip bone width apart, the closest so far. And without bending the knees at all, very slowly coming forward. So slow is key here, because if you are tight, the tendency to have your shoulders coming forward is gonna be way more. You're gonna feel the stretch way more. So just have the dumbbell coming as low as you can without rounding your back anywhere. You wanna maintain those curve in the lower back. So the tailbone is actually tilting up to the ceiling as you're coming down, and the chest stays open with the shoulders behind you. Pull way down, legs straight. It's like you're looking for that stretch up the back of the legs. Inhale down. Exhale up, make sure you come all the way to the top. Last 2 here. Totally straight legs. And taking just a little break. Excellent. Okay, back to the ball. Here we go, coming down to the floor. 2 heels on that ball. Lift high. And then for 30 seconds, push and pull. With lots of control. If you want to make it even just a little bit more targeted, see if you can keep all 5 toes angled straight up to the ceiling and not letting the toes turn out. You're going to keep it slow and smooth, the same speed on the way in as on the way out. Good, pushing the heels down into the ball the entire time. Try to keep your knees at hip width apart, no wider. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bringing the hips all the way down. Oh, that one gets me every time. Okay, coming back up for the second set. Legs will be straight, feet will be together. I'm gonna try a little bit heavier on the second round. 30 seconds, choose your resistance. Here we go, slowly, 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 so you can find that lowest point without changing the spine. So then even paying attention to the neck here. So the distance from your chin to your neck at the beginning should be the same at the top as it is at the bottom. Tummy is in tight, tight, tight. Equal weight on both feet. All these things, little key posture checkpoints. Last 5 seconds. Good, and bringing the dumbbell all the way back down. Yes, yes. Okay, with no weight at all, we're gonna take a set. We're gonna have the hands against the front thigh, whatever the front leg is. Take one leg off the ground. Little glute squeeze just to keep the leg out of the way. Slide your hand down as low as you can get it to go without rounding your back. And then come all the way up and still not letting the foot touch the floor. So this is an exercise in balance. Because we do really want to work the hamstring. If today your balance is just not happening at all, please keep one hand on a chair, something to give you the stability that you need to be able to keep going for another 10 seconds. I say this and then I tip over, so good. Last 10, really focusing on the balance, heavy on all 4 corners of the standing foot, not bending the knee as you come down. Shoulders stay back, all those same posture points as before. Good, one more here. And then switch. So without having any weight in the arms, the challenging part here, other than the fact that there is already some fatigue from the exercises that we've done, but holding this leg back the entire time creates more time under tension, and also the depth. We're getting lower now than we were when we were supporting the weight. So sliding the hands down as far as you can, find that huge stretch. Inhale, coming up, all the way up. You want to give your back that moment of relief at the top, full hip extension. Last 5 seconds here. Yes, awesome. Okay, we're going to include now a set of sumo squats. So I'll just quickly explain this. So the sumo squats, of course, work the whole leg muscles, not just the hamstrings. But with the feet quite wide and the depth of the squat, we get the inner hamstring targeting as well. So choose a weight that will challenge you for 30 seconds. Something that's uncomfortably heavy, but that isn't going to throw your lower back out of balance. And take your feet wider, still comfortable, but wide. Toes turned out, and then keeping the knees turned out over the toes. We're going to come down, try to angle or tilt until the tailbone is just behind the knees, not any lower, and then back up. Good, all the weight in the heels of your feet as you're coming up. Last 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, abs tight, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going back to no weights, 2 hands on the thigh, and challenging the balance. Okay, so abs tight, get that back leg off the floor, commit to staying on one foot, slowly coming down, and then coming up. Okay, especially with this one, especially if you're able to go lower than before, try to resist the urge to have your chin come forward. It's a natural thing to do because your eyes want to keep looking on the floor. But see if you can keep the chin at the same distance from your neck, even at the bottom. Good, now try to lift that back leg even a little bit higher by squeezing the glute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then switching to the other leg. Okay. Whew. Slowly coming down. So the knee is not hyperextended, but it is also not bending. It's just staying the same. Coming down, find that stretch. Sliding the hands down the front of the thigh. Remember on the way up, really kicking into the heel, coming up to full extension. Trying to get that back leg to lift a little bit higher every time. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And then grabbing that heavy dumbbell one last time, sumo squats. Okay, here we go, here we go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, this is it. Take a quick break here. We've got one last combo superset to go, which we're going to start with on the ball. And if you have a heavy weight that you can set on your lap, grab that. If not, just go through the motions as they are. You will still be working the hamstrings. But if you have your heavy weight, setting it on your hips, we're going to roll out over the ball for hip thrusters. Head needs to be supported on your ball. You could do this on a bench instead. The ball gives a little extra challenge and stability. So we get the hips high, then we let the hips drop just an inch without arching the low back. We kick into the heels and we come back up. 30 seconds here, down and up, down and up. So this one is a little bit more glutes. But if we work to keep the knees in line and not let the quads pull the knees open, then we're also, again, targeting those hamstrings. So really make sure the feet are just a hip width apart and not any wider. If you're not sure, bring them closer together. Good. Kicking into the heels, get your hips as high as you can. Last 3, 2, 1. And then take a moment to carefully unload. Okay, so we're gonna combine this with another single-legged deadlift. And it'll only be 15 seconds on each side. So take a weight or 2. I'm gonna spread my 40 into 2 hands here. We're gonna add a little bit of fake on this one. So we're pretending to come up. So there's a half lift, basically. We're coming down in the staggered stance. Abs really tight. Come up halfway to the knee, down, and then come all the way up. I shouldn't even say the knee because it'll just be however the halfway depth for you, whatever that is. So you come up half, down, all the way. Come down, come on, halfway, down, and then all the way up. One more. And okay. Catch your breath after 15 seconds. We'll do the other side. 15 seconds or longer if you need to. Stagger the stance. Here we go. Back is totally flat. Standing leg has all the weight. Good, so halfway up, all the way back down, all the way up. Down. Challenge yourself to keep the exact same amount of body weight in the standing foot the whole way and not shift it back and forth from the right to the left foot. Good, one more here. Okay. Whew. Okay, this is it. Final hip lift. You can find even more weight to go on your hips this time. You'll be surprised you can tolerate more than you think. It's just it's just being strong enough to get that weight on your lap in the first place. You have someone that can pass it to you. That is the best. Okay, here we go. Last 30 seconds of our workout for today. Hips go all the way up. Make sure your feet are only hip width apart, not any wider. Down and up. The first few should feel a little bit easy-ish, and then it should quickly get uncomfortably challenging in the glutes and hamstrings. So you're just dropping the hips a little bit, and then going all the way up. Double check the knees. Not coming out wide at the top. Equal body weight over both heels. Drive through the heels to come up, up, up. Good, last 10 seconds, mommy. Three, two, one. Carefully unload. And good job. We're going to do a quick stretch for the hamstrings here, which will be lovely because I'm going to bring you over here with me. We get to lie on our back. Yes, it's always a good thing. All right. Okay. So from on your back, relaxing on your back, bending one knee. Take the other leg straight up. So with one leg straight up, I'm going to continue here. Flex the foot so that the toe is facing down towards you. Kick up through the heel. Use your hands on the upper part of the thigh to pull that leg in a little bit closer, but make sure you've still got a little arch under your lower back. If you're not sure, you could actually keep your hand there while you're pulling the leg, and this is really important so that we're not dumping into the lower back while we're pulling this leg, and we'll miss the hamstring stretch if the back is rounding into the floor. This could be a good opportunity to use a belt or a yoga strap as well to include the calf muscle. Good couple ankle circles here. And then just before we switch, we're going to roll up. Try to pull the leg closer towards the nose, but at the same time, push your tailbone to the floor. And then we'll switch. Good, so other leg goes up. We're trying to get that knee as straight as possible. Kicking, 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 kicking. So be very mindful that we're not just relaxing the leg and pulling it in. Continuously kicking the heel away from you and pushing the tailbone down into the floor. So we're actually, the distance that we're stretching is from the tailbone going down and the heel kicking up. And breathing really deep inhales. Okay, just before we let that go, roll your way up, but still push down through the tailbone and still kicking up through the heel. And then relax the leg all the way back down. We're gonna leave it at that for today. Now that you're down on the floor, feel free to do all the other stretches that you need to carry on with the best day possible. And have a good one.
I felt that.